starting the Strength Solutions podcast today, and we're on fire. We are on Apple and Spotify. My voice is just changing. No, we're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. Also, you can check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel because we also have great shorts as well. I'm talking about these shorts. No, but also YouTube shorts. Then our website is strengthsolutionspodcast.com. Our email is strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com. You can check out our social media, Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram is Strength Solutions Podcast. On Instagram, I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
All right. There's a surprise topic here. Okay, I did not put anything on there for Nathaniel.
I was like, what is this?
Because I want you to talk about what you think is the most important thing in fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And what would your week look like if you had a perfect workout routine?
Ooh, nice. So we're talking like no responsibilities, nothing like that. It's just
bro, kid is gone, girl is gone.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
The girl takes more time than the kid.
More effort, more money.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Amanda.
Okay, all right. So number one, let's talk about the thing that I think is the most important, right? I was thinking the other day, like with clients, et cetera, stuff like that, and how this time around I've had some clients come back that I had in the past. But this time we are making so much more progress, more body fat percentage loss, getting stronger, just aesthetic looks and things like that. And a lot of the times I'll ask them, what do you think was different this time than was the first time? Mm-hmm. A lot of the times they'll say things like, oh, I just wasn't taking it serious. Or, I know that they were in a different situation life-wise, like maybe jobs were hard or relationships were difficult or they were just going through something. And now they have kind of this more space, more time that they can allot to it. And a lot of the times it just comes down to, man, and I know we say it all the time and I wish I had something cool to say or something like that, but it's just consistency, dude. Mm-hmm. It really is about showing up to the gym, getting your protein in, eating right, and just doing it daily, right? On a consistent basis, all the time, routine, right? Even if they're on a weekend or something like this weekend, just to speak about consistency, right? We went out for one of my friend's birthdays. Happy birthday, bro. I know you might listen sometimes. I was
he has a small penis, right? No, I was kidding.
That's all of us, bro. That's, I only talk to people with little tiny.
If you're bigger than an inch, I don't talk to you.
Get the fuck out of here. I was thinking about how much we had like drank while I was out, right? Mm-hmm. And I went and I was like, you know what? I don't want to drink, right? I was like, I want to drink very little, whatever it is. And so at the end of the night, I was driving home and I was fucked up. Just blacked out driving home. And I was thinking about it.
The cops didn't pull you over, huh?
Yeah. And I was like, wow, I had like a beer and a half and a cocktail and a half. And that was it. That's all I had all night. Because me and Camille had like shared some of the stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, that was really, really good. And I was just really trying to be consistent, right? With what my mindset is right now. It's really health focused, trying to eat better, eat less crap, right? And I've been making a lot of gains on my own. I think I sent you the other day that I had put on like 2 pounds of muscle and like my body fat percentage has dropped. Mm-hmm. Weight was the same. And it really, I'm not training like crazy. I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm just making sure I hit the gym 3 to 4 times a week, not eating fast food, and you get results like that. So if I had to pick anything, it just comes down to consistency. Answer the second part here. If I had a perfect workout week, right? I think I like 4 days a week. Yeah. 4 days a week of strength training, not super long sessions. I usually work out maybe anywhere from like 30 to 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. They're pretty short, pretty intense, and I'm in and out, right? I think the main thing that I would like is just more time to sort of just be, because working out isn't always about just working out. Sometimes I like to just be alone, and just kind of like focus, sort of meditate through things that I'm thinking about, stuff like that. So I probably do 4 days of strength training. I would love to do like yoga or some shit at some point during the week. But sometimes I literally just right now,
it gets neglected.
It gets neglected because I have to focus on other things or prioritize or whatever. And I would really love just one day to just go out, hike, something like that. I wish I still had time to ride my bike, and stuff like that. So I'd probably add in those 4 days of strength training, 1 day of some mobility and cardio, and then another day of just kind of like recreational sort of recovery type thing. And that's how I'd set it up, man. And we got to talk about other parts of fitness too, right? So I would make sure I get fucking 7 hours of sleep 8 hours of sleep, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, eat super well. And I think that's kind of a way that I would set it up there.
Oh, cool, dude. I love that you started with the idea of consistency.
Yeah.
Because it's honestly the most vital thing.
It really is.
And most people are just not consistent enough and they want the result.
Right. Yeah.
Like early on in the process, I tell people all the time, you can be inconsistent and get results.
Yeah.
But as you lower your body percent fat or as your skill gets up, the less likely you are to get better if you're inconsistent.
I mean, I've had clients get results off of 1 time a week, but that's like the first time they've ever strength trained. Right.
Yeah, and it takes time. So for me, my perfect week would be after consistency. It'll be 3 days of lifting, a day of HIIT,
Okay.
a day of yoga, a day of like Pilates.
Whoa.
I'm getting into it.
Damn.
And then the last day would be like a hike and a walk.
Right. Yeah.
So I would want to do something every day because, you know, I'm really consistent with my working out.
Definitely.
I have to have it for my mental health.
Yeah. Same.
And I like working out 7 days a week if I can.
Yeah. And I think we have to clarify too, because I bet a lot of people are going to be like, what the fuck, 7 days a week? That's crazy. But working out isn't always like in
High
the gym
intense.
fucking yourself up, right? Like it's just.
No, bro, beast mode. Go hard every day.
Really, right? Like that's like you know what? I'm gonna bring something else up here in kind of our open space of topics because I was gonna tell you about it, but it just happened yesterday, right? Yesterday was Monday, yeah. And I didn't have time to tell you, but so on that kind of thread of like beast mode mentality, the other day, Monday, we went to the gym. It's me and Camille. I've been doing about like 4, maybe 5 exercises, 3 sets, 6 to 8 reps, trying to be a little bit more in that hypertrophy range, but also making sure that I'm lifting really heavy because I still want to keep that like level of strength, right? And so we did, what did we do? We did squat, we did bench press, assisted pull-ups, and seated dumbbell shoulder press, right? All we did, 4 exercises done. And it was funny because I guess she was looking around while I was working out and stuff like that. And as we were leaving, there were these 2 guys that left the gym. It was like one guy who you could tell was a little bit more fit, right? And then another dude who was not as fit, right? You could tell they were friends, et cetera. They were talking, stuff like that. And she was like, man, did you see those guys, what they were doing in the gym? And I was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, what were they doing? And she was like, man, the guy who was more fit, you could tell that he just wanted to like bust his friend up. Like he just wanted to,
I see it all the time.
He just wanted to fucking kill him. Like she was like, he was on the bar, like doing hanging leg raises and then like doing a pull up and whatever. And then this friend would try and, you know, of course he's like flailing around. Like who can really do that? You know, I probably would get like 3 of those and be like, fuck, I'm done. And it was funny because I was like, man, I hate that, dude. I hate seeing people who take a friend to the gym. And I will say I primarily see this in men, but I've also had clients tell me about like their female friends. Like if it's 2 girls that go and their friends will just like fuck them up too.
Dude, okay. I saw this perfectly like a week ago with 2 females and it's always a leg day. It's always like you do these 3 or 4 exercises.
They're not going to go hard on upper body.
Dude. I just saw that the other day. It was just crazy. Like we did lunges, then we did leg press, and then we did this machine, then we did whatever. Like I'm just like, that's 100 exercises for a body part.
Yeah,
they're with a friend.
Yeah, and so it's like, you know, I was thinking about that guy, and I was like, man, he's probably feeling a little bad about himself. Maybe he feels like, but you know, maybe some people are motivated by that, right? Like maybe they're like, oh fuck.
I doubt it, bro. We know the statistic is that most of them almost stop just because it's too hard.
Right.
Like
so that's something that Camille said. She was like, I wouldn't want to come back if I had a friend like that and did it to me. Like I'd be like, fuck it. Like I can't do this. It was too hard, et cetera, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I definitely probably feel the same way. Like just a little discouraged, right? Or at least to the point where I wouldn't want to come work out with that friend again, right? Because I'd be like, if I go with him, I'm just going to get jacked up, you know? And I was like, you know what's funny? You know what I think it is? You know how we always have to think a little bit more about shit, right? And so I was thinking about it. And at least in terms of like 2 guys working out, I was like, that guy put him through that workout, not for his friend, but for himself. So that he could sit there. Yeah. So that he could sit there and be like, yeah, bro, I mean, look at how strong I am, you know, like blah, 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 whatever. And then he can leave later on that day and be like, man, I fucked my friend up. Like, I'm so strong. And he's going to learn, you know, I'm going to teach him how to, and I'm going to fuck him up every time. And bro, that's what you got to do. You just got to, if you could be like me, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, it's a perfect example of like when a trainer is very insecure early in their career and they just want to make their client throw up.
Right. Yeah. Cause you're just like, as long as I do that, I know that they're not going to tell me like, oh, I didn't work out hard enough or something, right? And it's funny that you're worried about that, right? You're worried about them saying you didn't work out hard enough when we should be kind of probably saying like, yeah, that's probably what you need right now. Like you don't need to be working out that hard, especially in the case of like those two people that I saw. The funny thing is that I'm like, I know the dude who was a little bit more fit. He had to start somewhere too, right? I know that he probably wasn't going up there and doing hanging leg raises followed by a pull up and blah, blah, on his first day. So I kind of sit back and I think, why did you think that your friend would be able to do that? And that's what brought me to the thing where I was like, it had nothing to do with that. He knew, right? But his goal was to make himself feel better and make his friend feel worse, and I don't know. It was just something that I saw and something I kind of wanted to rip on because I was like, man, that it pissed me off. I was a little mad.
Dude, we talked about this, and I think because we're a lot more secure in our lives now than we've ever been before, that's really easy to pick up insecurities in others.
We talked about that earlier, right?
I'm not going to go into detail about it, but we talked about how, people overestimate,
compensate.
Compensate with their concept of what they're doing or where they're going or what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And they're so worried about what others are doing or what they look like that they're just sad inside.
Right. Yeah. And then they're not happy with so they're like, well, I got to bring, this person down too, so that I can feel like what I'm doing is the right thing to do or worth it or whatever it is. So I don't know, just something I picked up on. And, we kind of were having that conversation about how you said, like, as we've gotten older and maybe a little wiser, right, or been through more things, you kind of look at people differently. And I know that I try and think a lot about, okay, why is this person acting this way? What was the reason? Even if it's not a bad thing or whatever, because there's always a reason for everything. And I think I've told you too, where I feel like whenever you're having a conversation with someone, they're always having a conversation with themselves, and they're just kind of saying things and
building the story.
Right. Yeah. And so, I don't know. That's it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of overtraining, right? This person I was talking to, they used to do CrossFit.
Okay.
I've done a couple of training sessions with them. And
are they a trainer or they're just a client? Okay.
Yeah. And they were talking about how they did CrossFit and they it's hard for them to slow down during workout. So we were doing a workout. I was like, I'm timing your rest periods.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're doing tempo work, and I was like, I want this much rest. And you could tell just how antsy they are.
Yeah. They're like, can I go? Can I go now?
Yeah. And we did some explosive stuff. But by the end of the workout, they're like, I realized that it's better to learn technique first, and then I could go hard later.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how, because they had their ribs flared, they were having shoulder pain issues,
just all sorts of things,
things like that. And I taught them like a month ago, basic exercises. Got the ribs down, core working better.
Nice.
Now they're doing tempo work. Now they're doing explosive work. And they're like, wow, this isn't how I felt before when I worked out. I felt like crap leaving.
Right. You always feel like shit, right? And you shouldn't. And I have a similar story too. I have a client I've had for a long time, a super cool guy. He also just got married. So congrats, bro.
Congrats. Welcome to the I am always wrong club.
Yeah. One of my clients told me this joke and he was like, when the joke is like two married couple, or it's a married couple talking, and they were like, when we got married, one of us decided that they would always take the big decisions. The wife decided that she would always take the big decisions and I would take all the small decisions. And he was like, as of now, there hasn't been one small decision to make. Anyway,
that's a good
another client. Yeah. We worked out together a lot. He's ripped his pectoralis muscle before he came to me. And I can super tell that he's very it was traumatic because even to this day, I'm like, you want to try some bench? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, okay.
Oh man, you got to get over it at some point.
So he's very, and so I understand, right? So I'm very easy with what we do or take it out.
You go beast mode, you just fuck him over.
So we're going to do hang leg raises and you do pull. And anyway, so the other day he had told me, and it's funny too, because I've learned through life that sometimes people just need to hear things from someone else. That's all it is, right? And I don't take it personally ever, whatever it is. To me, it's more of oh, finally, someone got through to them. You know what I mean? Anyway, so on his primarily on his push exercises. On his other exercises, he does pretty good, but on his push exercises, he kind of lacks a little bit of range of motion. You know, he does a little bit of a, you know, it's like not all the way through.
Yeah.
And I get it because I'm sure he's a little bit scared of like the stretch and all of those things and et cetera. So I've never really pushed it. I have told him like, hey, let's try and move a little bit more through the range, or maybe we take the weight down. But he's like, no, I think it's good. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah,
Whatever.
I'll let you go. Yeah, it's your session, right? And so the other day he had told me that he was on YouTube and he was watching this guy from his YouTube channel is called Renaissance Performance and Strength or something like that. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
No, man, I cannot remember the dude's fucking name.
Was he wearing a night outfit?
No, yeah. He's a sir.
He was a sir. He was a king.
No, he was an IFBB pro. Like he's a bodybuilder. He's bald white dude. I don't know. That's like half of them anyway, though. But anyway, he was telling me that he was watching this guy, and of course he's a bodybuilder, right? So he was like talking about how a lot of the times you don't have to go that heavy. You just need to focus on the stretch, going through full ranges of motion, like feeling the muscle contract and et cetera and stuff like that. And so the next day he came in and he was like, I was watching this guy and he's talking about all this stuff and how you don't really have to go that heavy anymore and you can just do this, et cetera and stuff like that. And I was like,
Pretty sure I told you that.
Yeah. And to his credit, he was like, you told me this so many times, but I don't know. He was like, I hope it's not offensive that like once I heard, and I was like, dude, it's not. It really isn't. Like, I'm honestly happy that you did see it. Yeah. And for whatever reason, maybe it was hearing it from two different people, you know, maybe it was from hearing it from.
Sometimes you need multiple people, right?
Yeah, sometimes you do, right? And so now we're doing this whole thing where we're moving a little bit through, we're like getting bigger ranges of motion, focusing more on the feeling of it and stuff like that. And I think he's more comfortable too, because now he doesn't have that hesitation of like, oh fuck, I have to go heavy. He can hit the 50s on an incline dumbbell press and feel like he got something out of it. You know,
that's not light either.
It's not light either. The dude is super strong. Yeah. He's probably one of my like better clients in terms of like physique and strength and stuff.
You heard of that on there?
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
What is, you have horrible clients?
Okay,
Wordplay.
Just so y'all know, I have a tier list. Yeah. No, but yeah, it's just talking about like going beast mode and stuff like that. Like you don't always have to do that, right? Like there's a way to train. There's a progression to it, and you don't always have to like be in the gym, you know.
And I think we talk about don't go beast mode, but there is a point where HIIT or something high intensity is a really good thing for your cardiovascular system, to challenge your brain and challenge your mind, see where you can push yourself. It's finding that balance. And at the end of the day, if you notice our workout routines, we're very balanced.
Very balanced, yeah. Like today,
for the average individual, you want to be balanced.
Like today, you know, I was just talking about my workout routine right now, and someone at the gym, I was working out at my place of work, and someone was like, hey, do you want to like hit legs with me today? Or they were like, are you doing legs? And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm gonna do like one leg movement, but then I'm gonna hit everything else. I, you know, relatively work full body and stuff like that, and that's just the way it is, you know. And in terms of balance and stuff like that too, I think that's another thing too, where it's like too many people, I think when they, like, if I were to just tell the average person you need to work out, I don't think a lot of people think about going to the gym and weight training. I think a lot of people think about jumping up and down,
killing themselves.
Yeah, running or doing something like
punishing themselves.
Yeah. It's never like, let me go to the gym and feel better, right? It's always like, I need to go fuck myself up, which is weird. Why is it always this negative connotation?
So I recently thought about this. It's like when we study, we don't read a book as fast as we can.
No, in fact, you can't.
You slow
right?
down.
Yeah.
And you try to figure out the data and like learn it, right?
Yeah.
We need to think about fitness in that same concept as studying.
Yeah.
Is going back and reading a book, looking at pictures, taking your time. Take your time with your breath. Take your time with your tempo.
You're right, dude. Wow, that is a fucking good one.
Don't worry, I'm a genius.
Yeah,
I got all the spices of life. Check out that YouTube short later, baby.
We need a shirt that says "read a book" and then it's just someone doing a squat or some shit.
Dude, yeah.
But that's super good because you're right. Like when I was studying for school and stuff, you know, I'd read a chapter and then the next day it'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go back and read that same chapter, right? And sometimes you need to do the same thing when you're working out, right? Like, hey, you know, yesterday I squatted, you know, whatever amount, didn't feel that great. You know, I think I could have been a little better prepared. Today I'm gonna do the same exact weight, same number of reps, you know, same warm-up routine, whatever, and just make it feel better, right? And it's the same concept. Man, that was good, bro.
Yeah,
good one.
I'm here to teach.
Einstein.
They call me the Godfather. You come to me and my dad is.
That's so dumb.
All right, let's go to some fun stuff, bro.
Okay.
Comedy is back. It's back.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
So I've watched clips. That's usually what I do because I'm a Zennial. You know.
Oh my god, dude! Watch the whole thing.
I can't, dude. My attention span isn't there.
Tom Brady roast.
If it's
baby.
longer than 5 seconds, I'm like,
It was long, 3 hours.
Wow, damn. No, but one of the biggest things I saw from it was okay, so you gotta correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not all
You're always wrong.
I'm not into the sports lore, right? But Tom Brady was like, they filmed him like kissing his son or something like that, like on the lips, like that was like something that they found, and it was like it wasn't like a weird scandalous thing or whatever, but it was like something that they did, and
Not manly.
Yeah, and everybody was like, that's kind of weird to do. Also because his son is like almost like close to his 30s or something.
In
like
other
that.
countries, it's normal.
In other countries, it's very normal, right? And so obviously here in America, it is not. And so I'm assuming that before they do roasts, they must sit them down at some point and be like, what is off limits? Like,
They do,
what
yes.
can we not talk about?
Bob
right?
Kraft was off limits and his kids were off limits.
Okay, so that's so funny because the clip that I saw was Jeff Ross, right? He's the host of
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he made a comment about that. He made a comment about both of those people.
Of Bob Kraft. That was what it was about.
Okay. And
or Rob Kraft. I can't remember. The Kraft family.
It cut to like Tom Brady, and you could see that he was like, I don't know, upset about it.
Yeah.
And he like gets up and like sort of goes over to Jeff Ross's ear and like whispers something in it. I don't know.
Says some like close your fucking mouth or something.
Oh
like
shit. And Jeff Ross was like, okay, like let it go. And that was it. And that was the end of the joke. But I was just like, oh damn. And it was funny because I was telling one of my coworkers about it, and I was like, yeah, like this happened and I saw whatever. And he was like, man, what a pussy. I was like just laughing because I thought it was funny. Because also it's like a roast. Like I don't know. What did you expect? But anyway, I didn't watch it, so you can go on to it.
What I loved about it, harsh comedy is back. You know how long it's been since there's been roast?
Yeah. Oh, it has been. When was it? Who was the last one?
I can't even tell you. It had to be before COVID.
Yeah, you're right.
And you're starting to see this culture shift of like being too sensitive. Like, guys, we just need to get over it.
I feel like now we're going to go back extreme, right? The other way.
I hope not. There's a fine line, right? Like, True. I understand, don't make fun of his kids. Don't make fun of,
I get it.
The reason he didn't want to make fun of Kraft is because it's like an ongoing investigation.
It was out of line, right? Like, I don't think Jeff Ross should have done it.
Someone who gets roasted sets the rules.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's all part of like war code, right?
And it's part of the fun of the roast, right? If not everybody is laughing, then I don't think it's funny. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
I don't know. They made fun of Kim Kardashian, his wife.
Kim got booed off the stage, didn't she? Yeah. Yeah, dude. Because number one, why was she even there? I don't understand why she was there.
Because she has to market somehow.
Does she know? But like, does she even
Netflix
know
had to pay her. She's a famous person.
Yeah.
It's not that she knows her directly. Some of it's for money. Let's just be honest.
True. Yeah. It was just funny, but I saw that they had done it live, right? And in the live version, they showed where Kim got booed off the stage, where everybody, I guess, I don't know, they didn't think she was funny, or I don't really know what happened. But
I don't think people like Kim. That's why.
That's also true. Yeah.
But they don't like her, but they still buy her product. Just
there you go.
I think it's funny when people complain to me about her. I'm like, but you just, I can see you're wearing her fucking Kim's like pants right now,
or like you just
her
told
makeup
me
line.
The whole lore of whatever, so you must be invested in some way, you know. And so,
like,
but in the recorded version that I guess they released on Netflix and things like that, they cut that part out. Yeah. So I don't even know if she's in the actual roast.
No, she's in it. Yeah,
that's so funny, man. Yeah. Oh wow.
So this past week, I was listening to a podcast and a guy named John Deloney, right? And he was talking about we're always trying to get better as partners, to make situations much better. And I take this advice because there's times where you're just miscommunicating, and that's why you're annoyed at each other. Yeah. And so what he says is like, we're going on a date. What's your picture of the date? Like, ask them early on in the day, because my picture may be, let's go to the movie and then come home. Maybe her picture is, I want to go on this romantic date. I want to go to the bar and then do something, right? Yeah. And you just have two different pictures And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, he didn't do anything for me, or she didn't do anything for me. She's just being annoying.
And then the other person is upset because they're like, what the fuck? I just did all this shit.
So before you even go out, before you go to like family members' houses, like before I go to Amanda's family, I'd be like, what do you want me to do today? Do you want me to talk to your family a lot? Do you mind if I just sit back? How do you picture this day so I can make sure you're okay and I'm okay?
Wow. That actually is super good advice. I could have used that a few weeks ago. That's really good though.
I just learned it. Sorry, a little late.
No. That's really good. Yeah, and definitely something that I'll think about applying in future situations, especially honestly pertaining to myself. But that's funny that you brought that up because this morning on Sunday was Mother's Day, right? Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. It's a hard ass job.
Hey, I did my work for I don't know how long, which one it was, but I put some work in.
Yeah, I did it. And someone had did a screenshot of like a Facebook group called I think it was called like Mama Drama or some shit like that. And clearly it looks like sort of a place where just like there's a lot of venting happening.
Yeah.
I'll use that word. And someone had posted a screenshot and it was like 2 sort of like casserole things, like a little bottle of margarita, like a flower and some stuff, like set up. And the caption was like, Happy Mother's Day. I hope all the moms who get like mediocre gifts this week, have a good day or whatever. And she was like, my husband tried, but this is like, she was like underwhelmed with what it was. And I was like, man, that's kind of mean. Like he looked like he tried, he cooked some food or, got you a drink and stuff like that. But like you said, if he would have said like, what do you want for Mother's Day? Right. And she was like, I want to go to the bar. I want you to wine and dine me, like make me feel good or get me, then there would have been no like disappointment. There would have been no miscommunication because
but he should just know
that too, right? Because that's another big problem, right? Where it's like, it's both parties, right? She could have said, hey, on Mother's Day, I want this, I want that, I want this. He could have said, hey, on Mother's Day, what do you want? Right.
So on her end, let's just say like she did tell him what he wanted. It doesn't devalue what he does.
Yeah.
And also you could be like, well, I want a romantic date. Let him choose the place. It's not like you're saying he can't make any decisions.
Right.
But give him an idea what you want.
Yeah. And I think
be accurate with your
with your expectation, right? Yeah. Because it is like one of those things where it's like, okay, if you didn't say anything and maybe that was out of his way, right? Maybe he works really hard or maybe he came home early that day or let the kids go, to cook the food or whatever.
You don't know the situation.
Yeah,
right?
you don't know the situation. And then you come home and you're just like, ugh, like this is what I got. Like I would I feel so bad.
This is what I was thinking on Sunday. We went to HEB and we saw the strawberries in the front and all that stuff, flowers. And guys are programmed. They want flowers, strawberry, chocolate, whatever.
That's what they say.
Whatever is in front, right? They say to get. And so marketing works so effectively.
Yeah.
I saw so many people run into HEB and grab these items. And I'm thinking like, Amanda doesn't like flowers. I mean, she likes flowers when it's random, but not like for these occasions.
Okay.
The strawberry thing, like with chocolate covered dip, that's more of a recent thing. And I'm like, they are literally just marketing to people, and people have let their brain be taken over by marketers and tell them like, this is what they need to do. And they just let them take over and versus thinking, what does my individual partner really want?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, let's say you get Camille has a kid or with you or whatever. Camille, what does Camille individually want versus what does the marketing want you to get?
Right. Yeah. Because marketing is going to tell guys, you get the flowers, you get the chocolate covered strawberries, the flowers are definitely going to be roses. You get a card and then good job. You did Mother's Day, right?
Yeah.
And for some people, maybe they do like that, right? Maybe it's just about the thought or maybe that's all they care about. But other people might want more, maybe less, right?
Yeah, maybe like Amanda
like,
told me she wanted to read a book by herself.
Yeah. Fucking awesome. Yeah.
In the silence.
Yeah.
Okay. So last week we talked the man versus bear and we're talking about nuance and stuff like that, right? And so I was thinking about the GLP-1 because I'm going to be taking semaglutide pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good experiment.
Getting shredded.
Stupid. And it made me think about like the complexities. And we're just selling this like it's some miracle drug, like some magic drug.
Yeah. I saw Oprah and she had released a statement where she was apologizing for being a part of crash diet culture for so long. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
So, I mean, Oprah's been around for fucking forever, you know, and a lot of her marketing and things like that, she's been on lots of commercials for like Atkins or Weight Watchers or whatever, right? Like, and I know those aren't crash diets, but she's been a part of diet culture, right? Which is right now kind of an issue, right? And so she was apologizing. She was like, I'm not going to do that anymore, blah, blah, whatever. But she's also actively on semaglutide and like has this whole show about like people need to be on it and stuff like that. And it's just like, aren't you just doing the same thing again? You
just
know?
now with the drug?
Not just now with the drug, but now it's good because it's a drug and it's like medicine and everybody can take it and whatever. And to your point, it's just kind of perpetuating this idea that it's just like, oh, just go get it. Just take it. You'll lose the weight. It's cool.
So I was listening to someone talk about it, and it's artificial solution to artificial problem. And if you look at the back in the 1970s when you saw people on a beach, and there's a lot of pictures of people back then, oh, they're not obese and all that stuff. All of them look healthy. And it was around like 1976 when the change happened. And that's when all foods started getting manufactured.
I see.
And we don't realize how much this manufacturing chemicals in society has overridden a lot of people's brains. And we take for granted that willpower and all this stuff. But like we talk about, environment plays a huge role of why today we're so obese.
Yeah.
So manufacturing is one end. Social gatherings, the way we socialize today, is another thing.
Definitely.
The lifestyle of not moving as much as we moved before.
Yeah.
It just shows you how nuanced and complex this is. And not only that, we're giving GLP-1s like this godlike magic.
Yeah.
It has done a lot of good, right?
Yeah.
But also people need to look at research too. If they've shown where some of these patients with thyroid cancer in their family more likely to have thyroid issues or some sort of cancer in the thyroid, which doesn't really kill people compared to obesity. So there's also
when they're taking the medication.
Yeah, because it speeds up that process. There's still a lot more that needs to be researched. Don't get me wrong. There needs to be a lot more research. I mean, this has only been done for like 18 years for diabetics, right? And then sarcopenia, because people don't work out. So you're going to see the next issue.
Yeah.
Because we know quality of muscle actually helps you with the quality of tissue that you overall have and helps with the immune system and other responses. And we know exercise is vital. So trainers, as much as you're hating on this weight loss thing, you're going to have to teach people how to build muscle eventually.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuance and complexities there, but we're not even talking about we're just talking about like the physical body part, right? We're not even talking about the complexities of our society now economically. So for example, McDonald's, all those fast food restaurants, I think I have it here. I guess I didn't put it in there, but
there's raised their prices.
CEO actually are losing money.
Yeah.
So their stocks are dropping.
I saw on the news the other day that McDonald's you're going to laugh when I say this, they're releasing a like value meal that's like $5 or some shit like that. It's like a burger, a 4-piece chicken nugget and like fries and like a drink or something like that. And I'm just like, that's what you fucking used to sell all the time. That's like literally your whole purpose. And now you're like going back to it because you raise the prices too much that now people don't fucking want it anymore, you know? And like today.
And the GLP-1s probably are making a role. A lot of those people who would be going to those places consistently, not their, like I would be considered every once in a while, like their usual customer. Probably just stops doing that.
Right. Yeah. Because number one, it's too expensive or
the GLP-1.
They can't. Like I know a lot of clients, like I had a client today, she's on the same medication or she's on,
Mounjaro?
Yes. Yeah. One of the other ones.
That's trizipatide.
And she was like, dude, the other day I had McDonald's and I just felt like shit. Like I couldn't even eat it. And so like maybe they're trying to sell like smaller menu stuff so people can still go or whatever it is. But it's going to change. It's going to change. And
there was like, I forgot what plane company it was, but because people are starting to lose weight, they're learning that they have to order less jet fuel.
Wow, dude.
So think about like the impact like on a bunch of different factors out there. They're also finding out with GLP-1s that people who were addicted to alcohol are no longer addicted to alcohol, no longer into drugs. And they did a study with mice that they had the mice drink a lot, and there were some that were more alcoholic than others.
Mice all fucked up.
And then they inject them with the GLP-1 agonist, and then they don't want to drink the alcohol.
I wonder why.
They don't know yet. And then, okay, this is how complex the brain is too. And I was going back into, we need to just tell people to stop losing weight, and like, you just got to be beast mode. You got to be like just disciplined, and how hard it is. They had mice in a study. This is going to blow your brain. They had the pellets where they usually, mice would go eat, leave, come back, eat, leave, the proper amount. They wouldn't get big. They introduced like a cheesecake.
Oh.
Dude, the mice were eating all the way through it. All the way through the cheesecake. They'd be full of cheesecake around their body. They were just like hungry.
Me when I eat cheesecake.
Exactly. Then they put the pellets back in, and they don't want to eat the pellets.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It just shows you how strong these foods are.
Dude,
that we're being overridden by.
I agree, man.
And we created this artificial solution to this artificial problem because I was thinking about it the other day. Like, I went the 40 days without dessert. I felt fine.
Yeah.
As soon as I introduced dessert, hungry again.
And you know what's funny too is I kind of realized this as well as I've been like eating less fast food, less processed things, trying to just eat better in general. The other day I was like just looking for food. Like I was like looking for something and like just kind of going around like the pantry and the fridge and stuff like that. And I stopped for a second and I was like, what the fuck am I looking for right now? Like I was like, I sort of just ate. It was a healthy meal, you know, like what am I looking for right now? Because clearly I'm in here doing something. And I was like, I stopped and I thought about it and I was like, I'm not even looking for more food. I'm looking for something processed. Like I was like, I'm looking for.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, and it stopped me for a second. And I was like, damn, like eating like that for so long, or just eating like that sometimes, right? Like you said, it's you were off it for 40 days, had one, and then immediately you were like, damn, I could eat another one for sure. You know, and it's like, it's crazy how it alters your literal brain.
And I have so much empathy for somebody who's overweight because I understand like how much they're getting overridden.
Yeah.
Like that's why setting up your environment is very important.
Like,
and I don't think people understand our brains all work differently. Like for me, it really affects me.
Yeah.
Where someone else who can eat it and then go back. I mean, my kids are a perfect example. My oldest literally could have dessert and just throw it to the side. My set of twins, not happening.
They're going to smash it.
They're going to smash it all.
Yeah.
So I have to put more rules because of them versus her.
And it's funny because today I went to HEB. I grabbed some food there before coming over here. I grabbed like it was like chicken, white rice, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get like something else on the side. And you know what's funny? I was like, maybe I get some dessert, and I was like, nah. And so I picked up a salad. I had like a tea thing for like my drink, and I bought it. Came and sat down, and I was eating my food before coming to the podcast. And in front of me was this guy. He was overweight. And I was looking at his food, and dude, he had gotten like the chicken and rice thing that I had, but he had gotten 3 of them, and he had like these 2 like big bottles of orange juice. Like I think he may have had like a water bottle, and like just like a lot of food, you know.
His adrenaline and his hunger signals are just off.
And I was watching him, and I wasn't watching him, but I was like, you know, I saw him.
You're all staring at him like that. Like,
well, bro, what the fuck, bro? And I was like, man, like he doesn't even really look happy. In fact, he kind of looked stressed, like about the fact that he was eating. Like it looked like eating the food was stressful. I don't know how to explain.
It probably wasn't. It could be that he's just waiting for that relief sensation that food gives you sometimes.
Yeah, maybe he's just like trying to put it down until,
you know,
it's like
it relaxes you.
It's like drugs.
Yeah, it's like
right?
drugs.
It's like you're like all fucked up until you get in there. You're like, oh my God, thank God. Yeah. And so, but you're right, man. It was just like watching that. I was like, man, that sucks, dude. Like I can only imagine that he's like struggling. Yeah. You know?
All right. So let's go to this 225 question. Right, you gave it to me. I didn't write it down on here. But give the gist of it.
I'll explain it again. Yeah. So I have a client right now. We've been working together for a super long time. At the beginning of this year, he was like, next year, my goal is that I want to hit 225 on bench for reps. Like I want to hit it for like 10 reps or whatever.
Does he hit it already?
He can do 225. Yeah. Okay. He can even do a little bit more, like we've done 240 like once, you know, he could do 225. And so I was like, okay, well, then we're really just going to be benching a lot. Like if you want to hit that movement, then you need to just practice the movement, right? And we'll just keep it at the same weight. We'll continue to like move, and we're doing other things too and stuff like that. But it's May now. The most we've hit 225 for at this point is 5 reps in a row, right? In my opinion, pretty good. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, that's about like a rep a month, you know, and 225 is a lot of weight. We talked about it recently, right? Where it was like, that's not some fucking baby ass weight that people just play around with. Like that's some serious shit once you start getting there. And the other day he was kind of telling me, he was like, man, I'm worried. Like we're not really making any progress and stuff like that. And I was like, well, number one, we have been doing this for a long time. It might be time to like change the phasing for a little bit and come back, maybe do some accessory things. And so this last
That's hard
time,
right there for people.
I know. Yeah. But I was also happy that he kind of came to me with it. Cause he was like, I think I might want to like lay off it for a little bit. And so I was like, okay, he's ready for me to say, let's change phasing and things like that. Cause if I would have said it before, he would have been like, well, bro, come on. And so, the other day I had us, we were lifting again and we were just taking a look at it. And I was like, look, your sticking point where it gets most difficult for you is the final lockout. So coming from like, I would say like mid-range up and coming up through there, that's where he has a difficulty. Coming down and through to that point, he can get it. But
good
from
chest.
there, it's not.
Bad
right.
triceps.
Good chest, bad triceps, right. Told him the same thing. I was like, I think that it might be your triceps that are the issue. And I was like, we're going to try this. I was like, let's try and see if we can just rep out 225, maybe work through that upper range of the bench press, right? Instead of trying to do the full range all the time. So I was like, let's do a block press, right? Get a yoga block, place it onto the chest. I was like, hopefully this isn't too distracting, but let's take it down to the block, hit the block and come back up. Bro, couldn't even do 1 rep. Brought it down, hit the block, and was like,
shows you how much is depending on his chest.
Yeah. And so I picked it up off him and I was like, all right, bro, I think I diagnosed it. I was like, we got to move on. And I was like, in our next phase that we're doing this, we'll still do some dumbbell work, cable work, stuff like that. But I was like, I really want to start focusing on the triceps because I think that that's what's holding us back. Regardless though, I was messaging you and I was like, is that normal? Is this a normal amount of reps to kind of put on as the months go by? Should it be going faster? Is there a better way to program this, etc.? And so I just wanted to pick your brain about it.
Yeah, I honestly think there's no normal way of like getting a rep or two. But I think if you spend like 2 months in that phase where you're trying to correct the triceps, what reps is he at for 225 right now?
Like 4 and 5. Like some days we get 5, some days it's 4.
I guarantee, just you tell me the block part. If he works on the weakness, bro, he may be able to rep out 10 like in 3 months.
Right, because clearly his chest can hit it, right?
His triceps just fatigue to help the load over the top.
Right.
Does he have like a bigger, wider chest and smaller arms?
He has long arms. His long arms.
Okay.
And so he's already sort of at a disadvantage because levers and things like that are more difficult, right? Where it's funny where like my client that I was talking about earlier, who's doing like full ranges of motion now, he's a smaller dude, and so he can just fucking hit the bench like easy.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
me.
Yeah. And so I was thinking about this client that I have now, and I was like, man, is there something I could do better, or is this just a phase that we sort of have to go through, you know, and like correcting that?
Yeah, I think hitting that and just focusing on the back end of it, the closing out.
Yeah.
Most people have trouble at the bottom.
Right, which is interesting too, because I was like, I don't think that it's that, you know, but then I was super surprised about the block press because I was like, damn, bro.
We just did one.
Yeah, I was like, I thought you were going to get a couple.
Just shows you what takes over for him.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to go move on to study. The first study is sedentary lifestyle puts strain on young hearts. Moderate and vigorous exercise, physical activity can prevent heart disease. So they just did moderate to physical for sedentary kids and found out that it just helps out with heart disease.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we have to like prove this over and over to people that just learn how to exercise, be consistent.
You know, it's funny. The other day, I was at Camille's house and someone that was there is very like, they have to take care of their health a lot. And so they had a blood pressure cuff machine, just like one from HEB that you can just buy. It's like a little button you press and it takes it. And so we were all, you know, you get one of those and everybody's like, where's my blood pressure? What's my, so everybody starts doing it and stuff like that. Camille took hers. Hers was like 111 over 70 or something like that.
Because he's so chilled.
Yeah, no, she's so laid back. I was like, damn, that's really good, dude. I was like, I'm surprised, like, or I'm not surprised, but I was just like, I'm happy. And so I was like, let's take mine, because I've told you in the past that my blood pressure runs high. Like, man, sometimes it's like 140 over or something, and it's like getting to that like sort of, I'm like, am I pre-hypertensive? Like, or am I hypertensive? A lot of times I think it's due to like stress, et cetera, stuff like that. But I took my blood pressure this time, and it was 127 over like 72 or something like that. And I was like, that's like the best blood pressure I've fucking had in a long time. Like in sort of recent memory, I was like, man, yeah. And I was like, what am I doing different? And really, I think it just comes down to the fact that I've been exercising a lot more consistently, lifting a little bit heavier, right? Like moderate to vigorous activity, 3-4 times a week, eating a little bit better. And as of late, I've been trying to get more water intake too. And so I was like, man, it really is just like sort of that simple,
Yeah. The second one is in this study. This study provides some of the clearest and most comprehensive evidence to date on what is known about stress psychology and epigenetics programming. So it just shows how stress changes our epigenetics, which is changing of genes as we're growing over, and how the environment plays a role, right? And I think it's time that we admit that stress is a big part of why you can't lose weight or it becomes harder to gain muscle mass.
Yeah.
Because if you're stressing, it changes how your genes respond and are expressed.
Right. Yeah. I learned about this. Is so funny because I learned about this it must have been biology in high school. It was the first time that I had ever like run into the thought of like epigenetics and what that is, and sort of how we all kind of have, or not all of us, right? But some people have these like gene markers that are passed on, right? So let's say a lot of my family has heart disease, diabetes, metabolic conditions, things like that. Within me somewhere is the genetic component for that to happen, right? It's sort of like a switch that goes on and off. And what they found is usually, like you said, stress or something environmental sort of flips a switch. And once the switch is flipped, you kind of can't turn it off. It just kind of goes on, and then you're like, oh shit, that's what happened. Now for me, I've never really had high blood sugar, I've never really had any of those types of things, heart disease, any of that stuff. But it's because maybe I haven't run into that sort of like stressor yet, right? Let's say I just fucking ate anything, or didn't work out. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I kind of work out because if I don't, then I'm guaranteed to get sick, get diabetes or heart disease or have a heart attack or something, because everybody else in my family has had it. And so, yeah, it's super true, man, that these epigenetics are something that we need to kind of think about more, and how if you're not taking care of yourself, you could really kind of flip that switch, man.
Flip the switch. All right, guys, before we go into fitness questions, you can find us on Apple and Spotify. You can rate, review us. Also on YouTube, you can subscribe down below. Then if you're looking for our website, it's strengthsolutionspodcasts.com. Email strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com. Social media is Strength Solutions Podcast across the board. On Instagram, I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
All right, let's get ready for this party of fitness questions. So I do low bar squat. I am much stronger in a low bar than I am in a high bar squat. I saw a video saying that high bar is superior than the low bar. Should I be doing a high bar, and is it really that much better than the low bar?
I see. The clickbait titles, huh?
Clickbait, yeah. Doing high bar would help your low bar, right? Because it forces your ankles to work a little bit better.
Yeah.
But when we say the word superior, no exercise is superior to the other. Now, there's some that help build more muscle than others, because you get more of a gross motor movement.
True.
And more strength out of it. But at the end of the day, they work two different components of the body.
Yeah.
One's more of a hip hinge, the low bar, while you're squatting. So you get more of a hinge. So you get a little bit more low back, you get a little bit more hamstring, you get a little bit more glutes. Where if you're doing a high bar, it's more ankle dependent. Your quads are on fire. You got to work more through your quads and glutes versus your hamstring and glutes. And then you have to really have a really good thoracic spine to kind of hold yourself together. But the ankles play a bigger role.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we've learned, or that I've learned throughout life, is, like you said, I really used to be on no, this way is better than doing it that way, or this is the like you said, the superior way, right, to another one.
Superior.
Yeah, but now I'm like, okay, it's superior based on your goal, right? If your goal is grow more quad, get more dorsiflexion, maybe keep the core a little bit stronger, you know, things like that. Okay, then maybe go high bar, right? If you want more glute activation, like you said, you want to work the hinge more, whatever it is, then go low bar. Either one is not better, right? So I would tell you, like, take a look at what your goal is and then choose the squat pattern on that.
You know what's crazy about it is if you do low bar, and there's a guy who helped does low bar. I taught him how to do high bar. He's doing high bar, but it's translating back into his low bar. And it's crazy how exercises do that. It's like some people are like, oh, you can't sumo deadlift. That's cheating. But the sumo deadlift, if you actually do it well, actually translate back conventional deadlift, vice versa.
Right. Yeah. Like when I'm doing phases like this where it's more of like a hypertrophy, I'm not really focusing on my big lifts and stuff like that. I don't really program that much deadlifting. I'll focus on my barbell back squat like normal, and I usually will choose like my second lower body exercise as like a lunge movement, because as your squat goes up, your deadlift also goes up, you know. It doesn't really go. That's one of the ones that I would say like isn't as strong, vice versa. Regardless, though, if your deadlift goes up, your squat's probably going to go up, right? Yeah. But it just goes to show.
All right. Second question: what warm up should I do if, when I walk, my ankles are sore? Is there anything I can do to make it better?
Interesting.
Well, you probably need to work on your anterior tibialis.
Definitely,
and it might be the way you're stepping.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming walking is a little higher intensity for you. If you're just starting, which congrats.
Yeah.
Or if it's hurting, you're probably not absorbing force properly.
Yeah, I would take a look at maybe the gait pattern. I think, like you said, calf raises, tib raises, right? Yeah, maybe even like ankle sort of like around the worlds, right? Get the
banded ankle work,
banded inversion, right? Pronation. I'm sorry, dorsiflexion and those. Now, I would say that if, like you said, you're just starting out and walking is high intensity, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe find a less impactful way of exercising, right? Maybe an elliptical or
a bike.
Yeah, a bike. Because with the bike, you're going to get some of that movement too. Like make sure you're moving your ankles with the pedals as you're doing it, right? Get them working without a lot of impact going through.
And it might be just 1 or 2 weeks like that.
Yeah.
And then go into walking and you'll feel much better.
Or maybe do like 10 minutes on the elliptical, 10 minutes on the treadmill instead of 20 minutes just on the treadmill, or 20 minutes walking outside or whatever it is.
All right. Question number 3. Is it good to head to the gym after getting sick? For example, I had a fever yesterday, not today, but I am feeling a little weak though.
God damn.
You're addicted to the gym.
Fever? Jesus Christ.
They're good today though. There's no fever.
Yeah. Fever's gone.
So if you do go to the gym, what you got to realize is you're going to be a little weak.
Yeah.
It's probably best just to do mobility versus going all heavy and crazy and slowly work your way back up. I think a lot of times when people get sick is they try to go too fast.
Right. Because they're like, oh, my gains. Like, I got to go back.
Yeah. You're not going to lose muscle that fast.
No, yeah. Call me a baby, but when I get sick, like when I'm legitimately sick.
You're a baby.
I'll take like 2 weeks out because it's like I know my body. And so it's like the first like 2 days I'm not really that sick, and then it lasts about like 7 days where I know that I'm like
you're a bitch.
I'm pretty and then I'm like, okay, I know that by that 7th day I'm like better, right? Like I'm like, okay, I'm totally over it, whatever it is. But those days coming out after it, I'm not 100%, right? I'm still kind of on the up, and I'll notice that like if I do try and lift super heavy, I'll be like, whew, like fuck, like I'm really, really tired, you know, because my body's still recovering maybe internally from whatever it was. So I take time off, man. Don't feel like you got to rush back in there. So yeah,
be a man like me. I don't take time off.
How about you exit bitch, man?
I exit bitch, man. No, you're gonna feel weaker. What I do is you're not gonna feel great. I just go through the motions and work on technique.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best time to do it and work on mobility. Things that I wouldn't usually do either. Like traditionally, I'll try to do those type of moves because I know I can't do them well to begin with. But it's such a novel stimulus to me that it's more likely to help me than hinder me.
Right.
All right. Last question. I was 250. Now I am 230. I have lost weight, but yet to exercise. How would you add exercise into my routine as I know it is healthy for you?
Okay, I'm assuming you mean exercise as in like
any exercise.
Any exercise. Okay. Well, number one, congratulations. That's a lot of weight to lose. Yeah.
You need help?
I would start with.
I got it. Quit messing with that cord there.
Sorry, I got trapped. Everybody. I would start with probably 2 days of strength training, maybe. Right. I might even start with 1 if you haven't exercised like ever. Super like cardio if you're going to do that too. Maybe 2 days as well. Right. Mm-hmm. And then maybe a day of recovery as well, but starts at, man, like when I talk about easing into it, like you got to go super slow into that stuff. Yeah. Like don't
I would do something like our newcomer
program. Yeah, like learning movements, just learning how to like get in tune with your body. Because one of the main things that I see with people who've never worked out is that, you know, in my eyes, I'm like, God, they're so clumsy, or they don't, but it's like they literally like don't know how to move their body. You know, squatting is weird and overhead pressing is all over the place and stuff. So it's like you really have to like start learning just how to move in those ways, and then slowly adding in things later on. But you're right, newcomer is great because there's a lot of physio ball work, right? Mobility. There's a lot of just like getting steps in, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. Like
in that program, we literally try to hit this many steps
in this phase
1, phase 2, hit this many steps.
Yeah, and we even give you things of how to do it. Like, and it's like normal ass shit. Like go walk your dog or play with your kid or whatever it is, right? Like easy stuff. And I think that's the kind of programming you need to think about is so simple, like the literal ground floor, like get into working out at the bottom, because if that foundation is super strong, then after that you can do whatever way you want to go.
Yeah, so I know it's like 4 days. I think about 30 minutes they last. Even if you did half of it for 15 minutes for 4 days would be way better than where you're at.
I mean, I would even say even if you just did the mobility part and the steps, right?
Yeah.
That might be good too.
Yeah. All right, guys, if you like what we're doing, please share, like, subscribe. We're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. Then on YouTube, subscribe down below, and you can leave comments as well. And then we have our website, strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you're looking for an amazing place to email us fitness questions, it's strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com. Then our social media is Strength Solutions Podcast on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. On Instagram, I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
Until next time, guys, what would?